My mom and a couple of friends, we were having lunch in the food court. Suddenly, there is this girl who comes up to me and she's like, "Hey, are you Sohan?" She's like, "The content that you're sharing is helping me and my friends look for a job right now."
I sit for 3 hours, 5, 7, 10, or 1, depending on how many posts I have, how fast I write, and then I schedule posts for next 7 days.
One thing that really prevents them from embarking on their content creation journeys is just how it will be perceived by their employers. Did you all ever worry about that?
If you're getting negative comments or hate comments, that means you're growing.
I'm Naman Pandey. This is the Ready Set to podcast, and in this episode, my guests are Sohan, Sethi, and Sai Kumar. Between them, Sai and Sohan amass a network of over 350,000 followers on LinkedIn alone, while continuing to be some of the brightest and most reliable voices, sharing job hunt tools and resources on the platform. Today, they share a step-by-step blueprint of how anyone can transform their career and their lives just by writing on LinkedIn, and the sheer magnitude of opportunities doing so enables. Indeed, even though they reach millions of people every week right now, they too made their first post at some point.
For a new creator who's just starting, my biggest advice would be niche down as much as possible.
Oh, he's getting like $200 per post. I don't know, some people think that, but nobody ever knows like the actual truth.
Just focus on giving value. That's when you get value 10 times more than what you give. And nothing happens overnight. That's one thing that I've learned the hard way as well.
In line with the podcast theme of focusing on just the first few steps in any endeavor, my goal with this episode is to simply inspire you to begin your content creation journey on LinkedIn.
Your content is cringe. You are cringe. I would say it is only cringe until there comes a point where it is credible.
I'm so thrilled that you chose to spend a few minutes of your time with me here today. If you like my work and want to support me, please subscribe on YouTube and Spotify. And for a daily dose of fun knowledge bites, please follow on Instagram. Okay, now without any further ado, here are Sohan and Sai. Welcome to the only podcast in the world featuring stories of high agency individuals who are just a few steps ahead of us. Sohan, Sai, welcome.
Thank you, Naman. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us, Naman. It's nice to be back here.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I know both of you all have been past guests on the show, and obviously that was for completely different reasons. Although I will say, I still actually get messages from people that watch those episodes. Today, we are going to be talking to Sohan and Sai about their content creation journeys and really looking to find out more about the people behind the LinkedIn accounts that every single day deliver value to thousands and thousands of people. I just want to kind of pick your brains around what first made you start writing on LinkedIn, and what was it that made you go like, okay, I guess I'm going to write content on LinkedIn now. And feel free to jump in, whoever whoever wants to take that up first. But of course, looking to get thoughts of both of you.
Go for it, sir.
Yep. So I would say I have I had two reasons when I started content creation.
Mhm.
First was during my job search, networking played an important role. So I got employed by a lot of people, but I felt I started networking late. So I started networking when I was desperate for a job, which I should have started when I was not desperate for a job.
All of us, right? Yeah. All of us wish we knew that before, but yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah. So I thought if I started networking while I was not desperate for a job, I could leverage it while I was desperate for a job. So that's one of the reasons I thought I'll start content creation as well, which builds my network simultaneously. And second reason, once I got my job, I had a lot of time after 9 to 5. So I moved from New York to South Carolina. So there's not much to do around this place. And once I got the job, I started getting a lot of DMs as well. All the DMs, messages that we have sent, right now we are on the other side. How did you apply for the job? How did you learn? Where did you learn? How did you prepare? What was the interview like? What questions were asked? All the questions that we asked, I used started getting them. So I thought like I used to hop on for 20-minute call with whomever I can and then share in the knowledge that I had. And by that time, I have been following OGs like Zach, Aishwarya, Megan, Jess, Alex Danlish, Krish Nayak, every OG creator on in the data science field. I see that they were posting continuously, consistently, I would say. And then I thought, why not give it a try and then see where it goes, which helps me build my network, which links to my first point. And then if at all I build personal brand, it's gonna be a game changer. So it's gonna be like a win-win for me and for the people that are texting me and then people that will text me. So I thought, let me give it a try, and then I started. It took few months to get the traction. I mean, it's not gonna happen overnight for anyone watching and wanna start content creation. It's not gonna happen in 2 days or 3 days. You need to give it at least 3 to 6 months to start seeing some traction. And from there, I would say there's no looking back. And then it's the growth has been exponential. And as I started, and then I saw an opportunity to build brand and build my network. You get access to people that would have been never possible if not for content creation. So saw all the uh, I saw thousands of opportunities, or thousands might be exaggeration, but we'll get there for sure. But like hidden opportunities and hidden doors being open, which which I wouldn't have known if not for content creation, and then that kept me moving. And when you get messages like I got the job, I got the interview, or I got promoted, these are the ones that keep me motivated and do more of what I do.
Absolutely. I love what you said about how it won't be so easy, but you kind of have to muscle through the first few months, which I have follow ups on that, but I'll get to them once Sohan shares his reasons for starting out.
Absolutely, I would love to. I would actually take a step back. That hey, from where Sai started, he was actually ahead in just learning about that. Hey, LinkedIn can be such a good networking tool. I I started to learn about that after I got the job, and that was such a bad thing to do. Otherwise, it would have been so helpful. But yeah, after I remember very clearly, like I started working back in August 2023, and somewhere around September, October, November, like my batchmates who had just passed out with me, and they were not finding jobs, and I was like, hey, what the heck? I went through this roller coaster where it is like you have to apply for 3,000 plus jobs, and then get a job, and there's visa uncertainty, then finding and so much that goes into that entire journey. And I'm like, okay, I'm just like listening about this, and it's breaking my heart, definitely for me and for my friends as well. I remember somewhere around the February of like the upcoming year, so 6 months after me getting my job, I had just accumulated so much within me that, hey, my ex friend did not find a job, my friend did not find a job. I just went to LinkedIn one day and I just like poured my heart out, like, hey, this is the entire situation with like the immigrant, international student journey, and this is what good. And for some reason, I believe it was not just me, but thousands and thousands of people, just like Sai mentioned, and it actually got more than 250,000 impressions on just that one single post.
And that was your first post?
That so I would have been like maybe I in a year or in a couple of years I would have posted something. But yeah, if I was to say my actual content creation journey, that was the first course, and
Wow.
yo,
Wow.
I don't know, I got lucky or something, and I never even planned to start content creation until that point. But I would say that first post, it just made me realize that, hey, gratefulness is a small word. I am privileged to be put into this position to actually speak out people's opinions and what they are feeling and just connect the dots for them. So I'm like, hey, I really have to take this very seriously, respect this like anything, and just go all into it. So from that point of time, I started sharing what worked for me in my job search, what is working for other people. These are the strategies, these are the tools that can really help you land a job. Everything that I had, I just dumped it on LinkedIn, and it just started resonating with people. I started receiving, hey, I just got my first interview because of you. I got my job. People are sending the offer letters, which I don't think is actually legal, but I just started returning these messages, and that was such a overwhelming feeling. By the very same time, such a feeling full of gratitude. So I just kept doing that, and touch wood, right now, very blessed to be at the point where I am. But yeah, the journey has been nothing but beautiful. And I just feel so privileged to be in the position where I am. And
That's
I'm connecting with
Mhm.
people like you, Aster.
Yeah, and so firstly, that obviously that part is my pleasure, if anything. But also that is so interesting to already get the contrast in your journeys, where, as Sai was saying, it was a little bit more gradual for him, right? He had to kind of wade into the waters, so to speak, before he saw any sort of traction. Whereas you, on the other hand, were, as you said, I don't think that is luck, because you still did the writing, right? Like no one did it for you. But I think what I'm trying to draw out here is it's really interesting that there is no one right path. And eventually what you both said did converge, where despite that one viral post, you still have to continue creating content, right? You can't just sit on your winnings and just relax for the rest of your life. Like, you still have to make posts, you still have to think of how to add value and all of those things, irrespective of when you go viral or if you go viral. You still have to do those things. So, as I was sharing with you both, I put out a poll and had a bunch of people send questions to ask you all. And one of the common themes in that was when, and this was from a big chunk of my audience that is employed, right? They do have jobs, they are working in America. And they say that one thing that really prevents them from really seriously embarking on their content creation journeys is just how it will be perceived by their employers, right? Like, their managers are on LinkedIn, probably their skip level managers are also on LinkedIn. And when they see them write so aggressively, well, by aggressively, I mean in a way that helps people, right, to find jobs. They shared that it can make it feel like they themselves are, like looking for a job, and is, just like goes into slightly weird dimensions. So, did you all ever worry about that? Is that something that ever crossed you guys' mind?
Um, ab- Absolutely. I'll quickly finish this. So I would say I was just speaking with another content creation friend who is very big on Instagram. And I was just requesting that, hey, we need what you're doing on Instagram to come on LinkedIn. It would be helpful for so many people. And he mentioned the very same thing, like, hey, I am working in XYZ company and I can't do this because my manager will see. I just shared this exact piece of information, which was like, since the day I joined my company, I did not start writing around them, but yeah, 6 months later, as I started getting traction in my one-on-ones with my manager, I used to go up to him like, "Hey, this is what I'm currently doing. This is what's helping." I remember the first time that I got featured on the Times Square, I shared that with him like, "Hey, I am doing this on LinkedIn. The reciprocal effect of that was this," and he was so kind enough to actually showcase that in our
Wow.
two meeting every week, and this continued, and I even changed roles throughout that time. Even my current managers, it has been something which has been very transparent because if I believe you go ahead with that kind of a attitude, it gives them the confidence in you as well. Like, hey, he's already being transparent to me. He's sharing everything what he's doing. Why would he look for some? Why would he have a different angle in this? So maybe that could be one thing. Or even if like, even if you don't want to be that open, that transparent, just keep doing your work. If you're not doing anything wrong, if you're just helping people, I believe the the after effect or just the fear of the after effect is too less as compared to the value, the immense value that you can actually provide if you start doing something like this. So
Mm.
that's my suggestion. To just think about that in that sense.
That makes sense. Sai?
Yep. I think I absolutely agree with what Sohan has mentioned. As Sohan mentioned, like even I got featured on Times Square and then I mentioned it to my director. She sent an email to every person in the company that Sai
Oh,
over featured
wow.
to Times Square. And she attached the video and then she sent it to everyone. So just to add on what Sohan mentioned, I think it can go either ways depending on the team, the kind of manager you have, the kind of person or the employee that you report to. But few things is when you're posting, just make sure that you're not violating any company policies.
Of course, of course.
Just make sure that you're not spending too much time on it. When I mean to say, like, try to post outside your work time. So when you get pushed back, you can have a proof. And obviously, another thing that I had in mind was, so that would be one thing. Try to post outside your work zone or try not to engage much, and then make sure to complete your work at company as well on time. So
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
guys
For
have a
sure.
feeling that you're completing your work, you're completing your work before deadline. You are going an extra mile at your work, and you're also doing this as a passion or something that you really want to help job seekers or data analyst or data scientist. So do not give them a feeling that you are not working at your company and then
Mhm.
uh, giving a feeling them that you are working for LinkedIn or Instagram or any other social media platform. So try not to get that feeling to your employers. That's one thing that I would say. And obviously, if you're trying to do something fishy, just you need to make sure that you're not doing something. It's just to build your network or to help your audience or to build your personal brand, which is going to help company, you and your audience ultimately. So it's a win-win situation for everyone. So I would say just say go for it, but make sure that everyone's in the loop. And when you get pushed back, have a proper reasoning of why you started, what you're doing, when you're doing, how you're doing, and then make them that this is what the impact for you or the your company or whatever the whoever the manager is, and then hopefully it will be sorted. But I know who few creators or few friends who want to start, but they did not get the approval or not. But it happens like probably less than 1% you can count on fingers.
Right,
So
right, right.
you just say get started and see what happens. If you get pushed back in a like larger force, you can always stop it. But if you never start, you would never know. So I would just say get start and then see what happens. If it works out, you change your life. If it doesn't works out, you go back to your normal.
Hmm. I love how Sai's solution to a corporate problem is itself corporate in nature. Like he basically said, just CYA, right? As we're taught in corporate lingo. Like no matter what you're doing, presenting, make sure to cover your ass. Except even his solution for this is also to just CYA, right? He is proof. I never posted during work hours, so I don't know what you want from me. So, so that's really funny, but of course also super helpful. I think that is a really nice way to go about things. That at least it'll give you yourself stability, right, or clarity. That okay, if something happens, I have proof that I haven't broken any rules. I still do my work on time. Blah blah blah. So what do you want from me? Moving on. Something that both of you mentioned was just the value add from content creation. So from the outside looking in, as was proved by the questions I got, and a lot of questions were around this specific thing, right, where yeah, there's a lot of clout. Of course it feels good, like the dopamine pools fill up when you wake up to, I don't know, like 500 notifications. All of that is great, and I'm sure you guys would probably agree when I say that it's like whatever, right? At this point, it's not why you do it, right? So, really, the question was, why do you do it? Like, what is the value that you get from, just being such a, you know, positive, big voice for so many thousands of people? How would you describe the value that you get or you have gotten from creating content? And we'll stick to LinkedIn for this particular instance.
I want to go for it.
Sure, absolutely. I would say the only reason that why I'm doing that is again two things. The first one, I believe, I've been very grateful enough to come to the United States, experience this amazing life, uh, work for the company I'm working for, be on LinkedIn, make money, travel the world, XYZ, everything. But at the very same time, that for some reason, for the longest time, did not give me the utmost level of happiness. I'm like, "Hey, something is wrong. You are doing everything that you always wanted to do. You are doing everything that you ever dreamt of. You are doing whatever the world aspires to be. Still, it's not giving happiness. What the heck is going on? Something is wrong in this equation. Left hand side is not equal to right hand side. So having said that, I believe my why or my reason are two right now. The first one is to make sure, give the world the resources, give the world the clarity, give the world just, if they want a ladder, give them the escalator that hey, this is exactly how you can reach wherever you want to reach, whether it's in terms of job search, whether it's in terms of data analytics, AI tools, business knowledge, just my experiences in general. That's the first piece. Like, hey, just help them get wherever they want to be. And then comes the more interesting part that once you are there, you actually realize that, hey, the entire world was just messing with you. This is not where happiness comes from. Real happiness, real happiness comes from having everything and not having anything at all and just being content and just being happy wherever you would be in that space. So, in terms of my content creation journey, in terms of my LinkedIn, I believe that's the slight bit of clarity which I've been able to achieve, and that's what I've tried to put out in my content every piece, whether it's in one line or the entire post. But that would be exactly these 2 points: help them achieve everything that they ever can, and once they are there, just make them realize that hey, the real happiness that you were looking for was always within you, and this is how you can actually get even more closer to it. So that's my vibe.
That makes sense. And can you also pull the curtain in terms of what you have gotten as a result? Like, what have you received in your, I don't know, it can be skills, it can be maybe it made you a better writer, maybe it presented better opportunities. I think there's just a lot of misconceptions and myths around this particular piece. Like, oh, he's getting like $200 per post. I don't know. Some people think that. So, but nobody ever knows like the actual truth. So what would you say to people that say those type of things?
I would say there are definitely multiple things, and yeah, one of them is like, hey, people talking about this exact aspect that you mentioned about, but yeah, being on a visa and everything, there are those issues that we have
Right.
go for them. But having said that, the biggest factor right now is, and this I swear this happened just, I believe, 4 or 6 days ago. My mom is currently in the United States and she's visiting me currently in Chicago. There is a Black Friday deal going on in one of the malls over here. So I was just over there in the food court. My mom and a couple of friends, we were having lunch over there. And suddenly there is this girl who comes up to me and she's like, hey, are you Sohan? I'm like, yes. And she's like, hey, I've been following you on LinkedIn and so it's incredibly valuable that the content that you're sharing is helping me and my friends look for a job right now. The resources are so helpful. I believe that that feeling which I got in that moment, like my mom coming to me, visiting in the United States and be witnessing something like this, I'm like, this is beyond any
Wow.
gratification or any value.
That's so cool. Wow.
Like,
That's incredible.
thank you.
Wow.
So like that. That's just an example, but yeah, the just the feeling that, hey, you have a purpose. You can wake up happy. You are excited for this, excited for coming on this call, sharing this with the world. I believe that is something which I'm incredibly grateful for. Just the why to provide value. That is something which I'm immensely grateful for, and that makes my day so exciting every day now.
Amazing. Sai, how has this rewarded your personal and professional life?
Yeah, I think I could relate to everything what Sohan mentioned about giving back to the community first, and then after a few months or years, you get it back 2x, 5x, or 10x. And absolutely, I can relate to the people thing when you walk on streets, or you are in a theater, or you are at a conference, and two people walk up to you, five people walk up to you, 10, 20 people walk up to you and say, I follow you on LinkedIn. I saw you on Naman's podcast or Yudi's podcast or X person's podcast. And then these makes our day. And then that's what keeps us moving. Apart from those emotional side of things, I would say the rewarding side of things, they have been pretty well too. You get invited to podcasts like this. I think over the past years, have been on like 20 to 30 podcasts. If not for creating content on LinkedIn, I wouldn't have been in one of them. So that's one thing that I would say. You get to review books. So even before publishing, you
That's
get
cool.
to review books and then give feedback for data analytics, data science. So you get the knowledge. And since you're creating content, you gotta be updated. So if I am not updated, I can't post content and my audience, I will not have content after a few weeks. And then so I got to stay updated and I need to read articles, blogs, just so that I can share with my audience. That
Right.
builds up my knowledge 2x. If I was not creating content, probably I'd be watching a movie or going out with friends. I do right now as well. But at least instead doing for 10 hours a week, I would do it for 5. I would be 50-50%. So you need to
Right.
be updated, which improves your technical skills. Since you're writing every day, that improves your communication skills as well. So we need to write every day on LinkedIn for making a carousel or Instagram. Since we started Instagram, right now we need to be very good at storytelling. So as data people, we need to have good storytelling skills. So that's something that I would say. And you get invited to conferences for free sometimes, and you get paid for travel, accommodation. And during the conference, you would meet people that you have been following them for an year, 2, 5 years, might be 10 years as well. So you get access to those people, VIP lounges, where you get access to uh, people of 10 years of experience, 20 years of experience, who are running millions of $1 million companies, $1 billion companies. You get to talk with them, you get to sit with them. That's something that I always appreciate. And then your network that builds. So when you're in need of something, be it job or a promotion or be it A, B, C, whatever that you have in mind, you make a post, you have built the network, your community is there to help you in any way they can by posting a, by commenting or by reposting or introducing you to your network when you are in need. That's the credibility part. You build your network, and obviously, what else do I have? Uh,
I mean, that's already such a long list.
Yeah, same with courses. Even before courses goes live on the people that you follow. I don't want to name, but I have seen those courses before. Even they get released to public.
Right, right.
We get to review them, give your feedback. If it works well, you get to be part of them. So all these things will make your career 2x, 5x, which would have taken me 5 years. I get to learn that in 2 years, or sometimes any year, or sometimes 3 years. And for every creator, depending on how they create, what they create, how they project themselves, the opportunities might be different. And depending on what you are known for and what you want to be known for, there'll be uh, there might not be any intersection as well. So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I think what jumps out to me is I never actually realized, which it feels kind of obvious now that you say it, but just how much work is involved consistently in order to actually put out good, helpful content for people, right? I feel like a lot of people just take that for granted. They're like, oh, anybody can do that. Well, no, right? Because as you just said, which I love that you said that. Unless you're fully up to date with the latest and greatest in data, you're not going to be able to post about that, right? And I think the same applies to Sohan as well, because you also work with data. And I feel like that is such an underrated aspect of all of this that most people kind of just gloss over. So yeah, I think that's something that jumped out. And then another question on this front was, what is your process around like creating content? So, do you have like a weekly plan, a monthly plan? Do you schedule posts? How do you go about putting stuff out, or is it all done like in real time?
I can take this. So I think when I started out, if I want to make a post tomorrow, I would write it today. And every day I used to spend an hour or two on writing a post for tomorrow. I did that for almost 8 months. And then I was like, okay, I'm spending way too much time on creating content than building my network or helping out others or having fun or any other thing or cooking, doing our chores. So then I realized, okay, this is not how it's going to happen. I'm not going to spend all my free time on LinkedIn. So I think I started creating content in September 2023. I realized this in April 2024. Took me 8 months to realize. There's from last April, I started creating batch content. So
Okay.
with this, I would write all my ideas on a Google Doc or a Notion doc. Currently, I use Notion. I love Notion, and I
Same.
write
I love
my
Notion. Yep.
it's one of the best tools.
It's so good.
Yeah, and I write all my ideas in Notion doc. And during weekends, I sit for 3 hours, 5, 7, 10, or 1, depending on how many posts I have, how fast I write,
Mm,
how much time I have in 100 other factors. I write content for everything, and then I schedule post for next 7 days. And during
nice.
weekdays, I just engage with the comments I get, and then the post will come
Mhm.
on my feed, and then reply to my DMs, have networking calls, do podcasts like this, or cook, do household chores, talk with family, friends. So I have more time for myself and to do things that I love. And coming to editing part of it, during I think at least for 1.5 year, I used to do all the editing part as well, the carousels and infographics. And later on, I hired a student for 2 to 3 months, and then one of my friends who was very good at editing, he also supported me in creating cheat sheets and other stuff. As it started growing, I hired a professional recently, probably I would say 3 to 4 months. I give them the content, they do the creative part, and I figured out I'm the technical person here. I'll do the technical part, writing content. Let the creative people do the creative work. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna spend my time doing Instagram edits or creating a carousel or creating a animated infographic. I don't see myself being an editor anytime soon in this lifetime. So I'm like, won't learn this skill. I don't have to learn this. Let me house whatever I can. Let me get my time back so I can use it to waste or to spend productively. I'll have my time back. So that's been the journey.
That makes sense. Sohan?
Absolutely. I would say how I started was just by whatever I used to like listening to, reading to, or whatever I was thinking. I just used to post that, and that went for like a good 3 or 4 months. And I realized that hey, what I like is not really necessary that people would be liking that as well, because obviously that's like a niche thing which I'm going into. So I slowly started to think content creation from a more strategic standpoint. And I realized that, hey, you have to generalize content, you have to package it in such a way that it is readable, valuable, and at the very same time, very practical for the
Mhm.
person who's actually consuming your content. So that's when I like, if basically for anyone who's wanting to start this their content creation journey, and or maybe someone who's like in the middle of it, this is what I realized around 4 or 5 months of content creation, which is you need three pillars for your entire content creation journey or system or something like that. The first one definitely has to be the content head or the content writer who's actually writing your content. They could be like a copywriter, or they could be someone who's helping you with ideation, or something on that front. The second part, just like I mentioned, has to be the editor who's actually editing the content, creating infographics, and so on and so forth. And a third person, just so that you are able to better manage your time when it comes to content creation, is someone like a brand manager or someone who can actually get you opportunities, just like being on Naman's podcast, being on UD's podcast, being going to a conference, seeing what's happening out there. So I believe those are the three pillars when it comes to content creation. And for the longest time, I was all three of those pillars combined. Uh, which wasn't the best idea. And a friend of mine told that, hey, the best thing to do is to delegate as much as you can, and just make sure that you are the creative energy, and rest of the manpower can be going into other stuff like editing and so on and so forth. So surprisingly, just to what I mentioned, that's my exact process right now as well, where and I believe that makes sense because both of us are working professionals and creative. And so from Monday to Friday, Notion is my best friend. Whenever I am walking, taking a shower, cut a coffee with a friend, or anything for that matter, it's just like my mind is working at like the speed of light, and something is going, hey, okay, this will be helpful. This can be valuable. Okay, let me learn more about this. This is something that I can explore. And while I'm simultaneously learning, exploring, thinking, I'm at the very same time writing ideas into my Notion doc. And somewhere around Friday evening, I sit down and I start creating on the actual content, whether it is creating videos, whether it is writing posts, whether it is formalizing things. Then that entire next 2.5 days are spent into that. And then again, you can just schedule your post for the entire next week. So you have the batch ready just already a week before. And that's how the entire week's content comes onto the LinkedIn platform. And that's how the audience use it. And at the very same time, something which has been incredibly helpful is just going back and checking that, like doing a survey of how your post performed for the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And that gives me a clarity like, hey, at this point of time, this is something which is clicking. For example, around the month of August or September, people are more interested in international student resources, and like new students are coming into the US. So that can be some content which will work at that point of time. Something
Just
around October would be, hey, what's a good resume? What's something that can be used for finding a job? Around November, December, things are starting slowing down. People are exhausted. It would be something like, hey, I'm not receiving callbacks. How do I receive callbacks? Maybe they need some motivation, some kind of a story that can push them to put in another application. So yeah, maybe thinking it from that strategic standpoint has been incredibly helpful, and that's exactly what I do on a day-to-day basis.
Unless did see what's working, replicate on it 2x, 5x, 10x.
Hmm. Yeah, this is a very interesting call out that it's so wild to me how often that concept comes up, irrespective of whether I'm talking to a LinkedIn creator or like a YouTuber or really any creator that is getting any traction. It's that same common idea of find one thing that works and then just keep iterating on that. That doesn't mean you just write copy paste the same post 16 times. Obviously, that's not going to work. And it is still a lot of work to like further refine. But it's that idea of if X is found helpful by people slash the algorithm, because usually they mean the same things, try to look at X plus one, X minus one, like that rough umbrella is where probably the juice lies. So it's just a signal, right? You're just responding to the signals that you get from the algorithm slash people. There were a couple questions around what to do when you're like not getting enough traction, and I like maybe you guys kind of hinted on this already. But when you put stuff out, and I don't know, maybe it goes into the same realm as hate comments as well. Do you guys ever get hate comments? Is that something that happens?
Couple of times, yes. I don't know.
Okay.
Like I would say it has the weirdest relatability ratio, but the more viral your post goes, the more hate comments I guess tend to get. So I don't know how that happens, but
What's an example of like a
Agree, Sohan. The more hate comments you get, the more viral the post goes.
yes. Yep, that is very true. Very true. But yeah, so and what was like an example? I'm so curious about something. Did it happen recently?
it did happen around 6 or 7 months ago. There was
Okay.
a resume post which I had created, and
Yeah, I think I remember that. Yeah.
yes, and that just went viral with like 7 or 8 million impressions on LinkedIn, and
Oh,
slowly until it was around a couple of million, it was all right. Like, hey, okay, this has been so incredibly helpful and everything. And as it just kept on increasing, the hate comments started getting more. And to Sai's point, it just actually helped my content get more views and everything as well,
of
and to
course.
their audience. So to the few people who were actually writing those comments, I would really thank them because they had seen the Indian campaign reaction. So that was amazing to have.
So what do they say? Like this is not helpful. Who are you? Is it that type of stuff, or what is it?
They are like, why are you sharing this when you are not working for like Apple or Google or anything? So,
Okay.
but
Got it.
why are you telling us this and something like that?
Which obviously makes no sense, right? Because what does that have to do with anything? Yeah. Sorry, you were saying.
When the people in turn who are actually using that resume are getting into app,
Yeah.
and they are then sending the messages. But yeah, that's just something which was the
Makes
people.
sense. And so it sounds like you just kind of ignore them, right? Is that your strategy generally or do you engage with them and stoke the fire, or what do you do in this situation?
No, I definitely ignored them. A couple of them, I just I wouldn't say I was kind or unkind, but I was very straightforward. Like, hey,
Yeah.
this is something that you are talking about, but in with utmost respect, this is what I feel. But I definitely respect your opinion and something like that. But if I'm being completely honest over here, I enjoyed it. I really how creative back in Gaia reaction was. But yeah, it was definitely something new which happened to me for the first time. But on a very serious note, I that was just a couple of instances which happened with someone like me. But on that note, I have seen creators be so I've seen people be so disrespectful to creators, especially women creators, and it just breaks my heart. And that is something which I've actually reposted or commented on a lot whenever there was a friend who was a creator and she was posting that, hey, people are harassing her like this. I used to go ahead, repost, and I'm like, hey, this is not something that you should
Yeah.
be. It's a professional platform. You should be making boundaries and respecting people. So that is something which really breaks my heart. But yeah, I just experienced something like that a couple of times.
Fascinating. Sai, what is your approach with the haters?
Yeah, I think first I would say when you are in the creative space like content creation or like when you want to be an influencer, negative comments and hate comments are byproducts. So the more you
Mm.
create, the more you are well known, the more you get, and it's part of your journey or life is what I would say. You gotta get used to them. So there are few ways that I treat them. If whatever they're saying is correct, I take it as a feedback and incorporate it. If whatever they're saying doesn't make sense, I just ignore it. But if it's misinformation or misconception, or if they're diverting the topic, I just put them in the right track. But mostly whatever I do, I don't take it to heart. That's the first thing everyone has to remember who are coming to content creation. It's a byproduct. If you're getting negative comments or hate comments, that means you're growing. Assuming that you haven't done anything wrong, you are growing. So
Yeah.
take it as a positive thing and then keep doing what you're doing. You can't please everyone. So if you're making, if you're helping 1,000 people, there are going to be 5 people who can be jealous of you, who hate you, or who do not like you, whatever the word that you want to put for it.
Mm.
There are going to be people who do not like what you're doing, even though if it's 200% correct. So it's just it. So accept it and then keep doing whatever doing, as long as you're truthful to yourself, as long as you're posting truthful content and it doesn't scam anyone, or it doesn't do anything
Harm. Yeah, exactly.
Right. There's no harm. And on LinkedIn, it can be to the certain level. When you're on Instagram, there's no limit, there's no boundaries. At least
Really.
LinkedIn is a professional platform. When you move out of LinkedIn on X or Instagram, it's so transparent, it's so raw. Especially if you're a creator there, you got to be stronger than a creator than on LinkedIn. So uh, probably 5x stronger or 10x stronger, as Sohan mentioned. Especially with you women, they got to be 100x stronger. So it's a byproduct. And when you compare with the opportunities and the things that you get off your content creation, this is going to be nothing. So think of it like a trade-off, or think of it from an ROI perspective. These things are negligible. So for anyone watching, just ignore them as long as they don't make sense. And
Yeah, no, I think that's very, very timely call out, especially because of obviously both of you, after conquering LinkedIn, are now have now set your sights on Instagram. So do you mind talking me a bit through about like, I guess, why that is, what is motivating you? Is it just kind of outgrowing the LinkedIn platform and looking at something bigger? Because obviously there are much more active daily users on Instagram than LinkedIn. But I guess what would be the rationale behind expanding beyond LinkedIn?
for me, I would say it's always good to diversify your audience. I wish I had started that sooner. So we would always say never completely depend on one platform, be it LinkedIn or Instagram or X or newsletter. So the more you diversify your audience, the more your personal brand builds, your credibility builds. And I'm not a camera person. I probably have like 7 or 8 pictures in total. Those are the same pictures I use for most of my posts that I have been using from past 2 years. And then I'm not a person, but because of the content creation, I had to get pictures. I have to be on podcast. I couldn't even talk to people until I came to United States, but I came here and then had to build my network. I had to go out of my comfort zone.
So, and how has it been for you so far?
Absolutely. I would say, okay, the reason that I started it was because definitely you want to reach a wider audience, want to make a larger impact, impact as many people as possible. And obviously you are very right. Like, hey, there could be overlap with the number of people who are using Instagram and LinkedIn, but at the very same time, there are people who are just using LinkedIn and just using Instagram for growth purposes. So there are so many people that you can help on that platform. But I would say more importantly, it was very important to just test something out for myself as well. Like, hey, I've been playing cricket, I've been playing soccer, I've been playing baseball. Let's jump into basketball now, and maybe that is something that you would really enjoy and excel in as well. So for me personally, it has been a way to just showcase my personality. And I so agree with Sai that for some reason I also had the knack of I can definitely speak for hours and hours on a video call. Like it is so damn difficult to just like record a video, and definitely the first week is the hardest part. LinkedIn is great when you want to express your thoughts, but Instagram is just amazing when you want to express your personality. And it just
Interesting.
it is just a tool which gives you a way to say the very same thing in like five different ways. And that is something that can really help so many people. So um, definitely the number one reason was to diversify and reach a wider audience, but at the very same time showcase your personality in such a way that it can really help so many other people. And at the very same time, the storytelling which I'm learning on Instagram, like reciprocate back to LinkedIn, and it just keeps on growing. So really having fun with Instagram at the moment.
And in terms of, like, as you both mentioned that, like, talking to a camera was a big challenge, and I can definitely relate to that because it was for me as well back when I started. Of course, I feel much more comfortable with it now, but that's also because I've just been doing this for almost close to 2 years now.
Right.
So, I mean, obviously, I have a perspective on how I, you know, work around this, but I think it's really interesting, and it's part of why I wanted to talk to both of you
Mhm.
today, specifically in this early stage of you guys's, journey on Instagram, and in when it comes to like talking head videos, essentially, right? Like, because you guys are so far, I don't think you're making vlogs. I don't think you're making like movie style stuff or skits or whatever the case might be. In your niche, it just makes more sense to do a talking head where you give value, right? Where you're talking about blah, blah, blah. Here's your hook. Here's what you should do to solve this problem. And here's how you can do it. And it's obviously presented in a really engaging way, right? There's a nice music, there's like some cool edits. So, especially for that type of content, as Sai was saying, maybe you'll have more insight on this. What do you do when you're 15 takes in? You're like, this is not working. I don't feel good about this. I just want to quit. I don't want to do this anymore. This was a bad idea. Let's stick to LinkedIn. What is it that makes you push through that phase? If that question even makes sense.
Yes, it completely makes sense. I think from someone who has created content on LinkedIn, as I mentioned, it's not going to happen overnight. If you want to achieve something, it takes time. It can be 1 month, 3, 12 months, year, 2, 3, but it's going to happen for sure. So that's what I believed in. Like, I know I suck at being on camera or recording myself, but I know if I put in efforts, if I give it time, it's going to work. And the best time to fail is when you're small. So right now, if I post something shit on LinkedIn, it's like it affects my credibility for sure. But if something goes wrong on Instagram, it might not affect the in the same way because
That's a good point.
followers. I have like
Absolutely.
200 times of 200x followers on LinkedIn. So I can't test different things on LinkedIn right now, but I can test out different things on Instagram. Fail, learn, and then iterate it on top of it, and then become a better version of myself every day or every week or every month. So, so I would say when you're small, test. So when you fail, no one listen, no one knows, or even you wouldn't notice. You might notice because you're the one who's in the shoes, but audience might not notice. They might not remember when you become big. So this is the time to try out different things or like try out different formats, different styles, different hooks, different ways to record, different ways to fail, different ways to learn. You get feedback, and the community they're always happy to help you. The data community, all the creators that I have met, I have connected to almost every data creator, if not everyone, almost 90% of them. And they're always happy to help, like to try a different hook, try a different angle, try out different concepts, try out different captions. This always, the community is amazing, especially in data. So they're happy to give feedback and give tips, tricks. So that's one thing that I really liked about. And then that keeps me moving because they have mentioned the same thing. We said when we started, and then here we are. You're done amazing job at LinkedIn. You're gonna do great here as well. So when you hear those, you keep moving. But for someone who doesn't have this backup or people who this network, I would still say go and start, because when I started on LinkedIn, I was at 2,000 followers of 1500 like most people. So give it time, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, or until you get there, it's gonna happen. Just don't stop. So fail.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, without failing, I wouldn't say you wouldn't see success, and it wouldn't taste good if you just succeed overnight.
That's very true. Yeah, I think it reminds me of that saying. I think it goes like, how quickly would you want to fail if you knew you were going to succeed the 32nd time, right? So how quickly would you want to fail the first 31 times just so you can get to attempt 32? Yeah, but I think that's the tricky part, right? Where we don't, in our heads, it's hard for us to realize that I am actually going to succeed the 32nd time. So let's just get all the failures out of my way so I can get to 32, which I think is, what you were getting at. So, and has it been a similar experience for you as well, or has it been different?
Absolutely. I would say for me, for Sai, or for any creator who's starting with a new platform or like just content creation in general, they often hear the word, hey, your content is cringe. You are cringe. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard it. I still hear it.
Yes.
Same, same. So I would say it is only cringe until there comes a point where it is credible, and that is where, just like you mentioned, the attempt number 32 might actually take you to the credibility point, but you just have to fail and reiterate and learn and fail and reiterate and just keep on doing that loop. But again, just for a new creator who's just starting with the content creation journey, just my biggest advice would be niche down as much as possible. Hey, I am an international student. Okay, I am an international student who's helping with job search. I am an student who's helping with job search only for data analyst job. I am an international student helping with job search for data analyst job. I am only providing them projects, resumes, samples, extras, anything for like my or just news.
Yeah.
So down as much as possible. Then
Fascinating.
then I believe what's something which is very, very important are three things. Number one, just the value add. Number two, and the most underrated one is relatability. If I am finding a relatable for Vignam and with Sai, I would actually follow them more as compared to someone else. So
Yes. Yeah.
that has been incredibly important. And then the third one, and definitely the most important one is consistency. Once you are doing
Absolutely.
something repeatedly over and over again and learning from it, the key is to definitely do it consistently, but at a growth trajectory. It could be this today, it could be slightly more, but it has to be here and then keep on going above and above. So increasing in your value in what you're providing and growing consistently in no matter what, no matter what's your niche, what's your platform, what kind of a creator are you, what's your personality, you will eventually make it. So I would say that's how I would break it, like those 3 points. And yeah, I'm sure anyone can be a creator and anyone can showcase their personality and make it out there.
Yeah, just one thing on what Sohan mentioned. So when you start out, the same people who will tell you that the content is cringe, why are you posting, blah blah blah. They're the ones most probably will come back to you when you show them when you build the credibility and come back like, hey, can you help me with this? How did you get started? What helped you most? So keep going. I watch a lot of Raj Shamani's podcast. He
Yeah.
always quotes this. So I would say just post. So just show them you can do it, and then it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot more credible, and then with a lot more opportunities, and you grow faster.
Wow. Yeah, no, absolutely agreeing with everything you all said. I especially like Sohan's second point around, building relatability, because I think that flows directly into being authentic, right? There are already everyone else in the world, right? The next big creator will not become a big creator by imitating, I don't know, like Parth, Vijayvargiya or UDJ. UDJ is the best at being UDJ, right? There will never be another UDJ. So a lot of creators fall into that trap of trying to be like other creators, which is great for inspiration. But at the end of the day, no one can beat you at being you. And that, if you desert that, I think you're kind of setting yourself up for failure. So that was something that I took away. In addition to, obviously, throughout the rest of this conversation, and there's a few other questions which we won't get into because there's no time left, at least for this particular episode. But I think it's really blown my mind just how hard you guys work on this. Like, I don't actually even think I fully appreciate it, despite being like, I don't know, like a fringe creator. I'm not a real creator like you guys. But I never actually stopped to appreciate just how much work consistently goes into doing what you guys do and have been doing so consistently for years now. And I don't know, I just feel really inspired talking to both of you, even though I have avoided the trap of the initial starting point where, oh, how do I start? What are the first few steps? I understand those, but I still think it's so interesting and mind blowing, honestly, to learn about just the sad and maybe for some people happy realization that the grind never actually ends. Like that's the breaking news headline here. Like you're always going to have to work hard. And if you're not okay with that, then might as well don't even start. Because like sure you get more efficient, your processes become easier, everything gets easier. Sure, I get that. But you still have to put in the hours, you still have to put in the lead work. Like the work doesn't do itself. I don't know, maybe it's like really obvious for everyone else, but that to me is what is sticking out from our past hour of interacting with you guys there. And I want to end with giving both of you a chance to share, I don't know, one thing with all of anybody watching. Obviously, a lot of these are people that follow you, that like you, that really look up to you, and that that have been inspired by you. So if you had the chance to share one thing with these people, what would it be?
I would say if something is easy, everyone would do it. It's also a quote that I read on Instagram or on one of Rashramani's podcast. So I would say go give it your 100%, and then do not expect anything in first few months or first few years, and then you would start seeing the results or the ROI with time. So just be yourself, be authentic, and then trust the process, trust the people, trust the community, and make sure to give like 100 times before you get something. So it's never give and take, or it's never just take. So gotta give 10 times of what you get. And that's what Zach Wilson tells to like the OG of data engineering. So I've watched every podcast of his, and then he gives like 10x of what he gets. So that's what I trust as well. So focus on giving value. That's when you get value 10 times more than what you give. So just keep going, and all the best to everyone who wants to create content. All of us are just a text away, so feel free to text us if there's anything we can do. We are happy to in our energy and scope.
Beautiful. Sohan?
I would say, given the timeline where we are in right now, November 2025, with so much happening in the world, whether it's from search perspective, from a immigration perspective, and whatnot, like just life in general. I would say, no matter what's your calling, or what's your fight, or what's your race, or wherever, what's your endeavor for that matter, you are not defeated unless and until you throw the towel. That would be my saying. And whether you are searching for a job right now, or you're starting with content creation, or anything else for that matter, you just have to fail and accept every failure, or every defeat. Just like you mentioned, Naman, that hey, I got a rejection. I am to anyone who is watching this and who just got a rejection, like maybe today, or like yesterday, I would like to congratulate you that hey, you are another rejection closer to finally that 105th attempt or something. So that would be my biggest message right now, that hey, just keep going. And not just for the sake of saying this, because I myself has have experienced this time and again, whether it was
Yep.
coming to the US, whether it was finding a job in the United States, whether it is big content creation, or just life in general, uh, your hardest nights will eventually give rise to your best morning. And having said that,
Wow.
just keep on grinding. And whenever you don't find the strength to keep going, just that small belief that hey, I will make it one day. I have it in me, and it's just like the light is just around the corner, that can keep you going for maybe another day or two. And have seen my life just change whenever I was in my lowest points, just change within a couple of weeks. And I'm like, hey, this is magic. How did this
Yeah.
go from year to year within a couple of weeks? And that's the strength that you need to have whenever the night is the darkest. So that would be my message, that hey, you're not defeated unless and until you throw the towel, and then just keep on going. And I genuinely can promise that it will work out. So yeah, all the best to everyone watching this.
Amazing. Yeah, I think the quote that comes to mind on that one is, in life, all defeat is psychological until death. Right? Because, of course, you can't outrun death, but until then, all defeats are actually, as you said, when you choose to throw in the towel. Again, Keely, thank you so much for taking the time. It really means a lot to me and my audience. And yeah, we shall have you back soon, hopefully, once you've already crushed or crossed, I don't know, like 10 million.
Number sounds good.
Thank you so much, Mohan.
That brings us to the end of that fascinating episode with Sohan and Sai. I hope you found value and you enjoyed it as much as I did. If you would like to support me, the easiest way to do that is by subscribing on YouTube and leaving me up to a 5-star review on Spotify or any of your favorite podcast apps. Something that goes a really long ways if you share these episodes or these clips or these shorts or whatever the case might be with a friend or family or anyone close or near and dear. Catch you all in the next one, new episodes every Wednesday.